Good morning, party people. I am at it again. You say at what? At laundry. It's laundry day. Got a lot of laundry to do, but hey, getting it done. I wanted to ask you guys, because I can't find the information that I'm looking for. If you ask me to get a couple of parts for you, reach out and remind me what those parts was. I'm specifically looking for somebody that asked me to get a few tensioner rollers for them, and somebody that asked me to get some corner marker lights from a 850. They're light bulb holders. I got those things. I'm ready to ship them. I need you to get in touch with me and let me know what I need to do to ship those to you. If you need parts, let me know. As I go to the junkyard, I can look for them. And don't feel bad about sending me a text to remind me once a week. If it's something I don't think I can get, I'll let you know that. Other than that, my new to me ride is running well. I need to do an oil change on that thing today. So that's one of my goals for today. Also, I'm going to back down to that RV parking facility to try to finish up on that black car today. Didn't get to work on it yesterday. I needed to get a couple of more parts for it. Had to get a little boot support manufactured for it. And I also need to find a part for the fuel pump so I can get that stuff installed, get that car running. So man, I'm getting close. Getting close. I could probably have that thing running in an hour. Probably have it drivable in about 2 hours. But hey, I'm trying to make sure I get everything right so that when I leave here, Darren won't have to worry about it. He can get in that car and drive anywhere he wants. So that's where we're at with that. Other than that, just enjoying the weather here in the Bay Area. Nice sunny days. Had one day where we had a little bit of rain. I need to figure out how I can get this car washed. Find me a little car wash and wash this car. I really haven't washed it since I owned it, which was mid-January. That's where I'm at. Getting some more stuff done. Probably will be leaving the Bay Area in a few days. So if you're in the area, you want to do a meet and greet, try to get in touch with me over the next couple of days so we can get that scheduled and hey, hang out, have a good time for a couple of hours. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's clips. Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert. That's me. This video contains things that I encounter throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you could click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. Kicking off the Tinker Day down here at the RV stop. It's actually raining. Raining in California. But I don't think it's raining enough to matter. So I'm going to get with it. If it starts raining hard, I'll jump in the car for some shelter, but I think I'll be fine. Nice and cool. I do like that. Looks like this rain might miss me, so I'm gonna get cracking. First thing I gotta do is get the brace on this engine, and then I gotta pull that turbo out of there. I think I trapped exhaust manifold gasket under the manifold. All the screws came out except for one. I think that one screw that didn't come out had a hanging on it in the video I saw. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. Then we'll get to wrapping this thing up. So in one of the video clips, it looked to me like there was an exhaust manifold gasket stuck down there. So I'm gonna crawl down there and take a good look. Yep, here it is. Right at the tip of my finger. Gasket. I gotta loosen all these exhaust manifold studs. Get this loose. And it's evidently one on the bottom, one of these two close to this. So let me see if I can work it out of there and not have to take the whole gosh dang manifold off. But if I pull that out of there, it's probably going to drop that other gasket. So yeah, I'm probably going to have to drop the whole gosh dang manifold. Some people don't know how to put the hood in, I guess, what Volvo calls service mode. When you open your hood, it normally opens and it stops right there with that peg. If it doesn't stop there, something's wrong, it's broken. But if you want to open the hood up further so that it's at like a 90 degrees angle, you lower the hood a little bit, you push this down on both sides. Simply lower it like that. I already did the other side. Now the hood will come all the way up on a 90-degree angle. So it's fully up, give you access to things in the back of it. You don't have to worry about bumping your head on it. And whenever you're done, you don't have to do anything special. You lower the hood all the way and this thing gets reset if the hinges are not damaged. They're damaged on my new car. See, they hit there and then it's starting to rock straight with that. So next time I open the hood, it'll come up and it'll hit that peg again if the hood is closed all the way. That's how that works. Hope that helps. A good scenario actually happened. All of the studs except for 3 stayed in the head. That'll make it easier to put this thing back on. So I got all 10 out. I'm gonna lift this manifold off, get that extra gasket off of there, put this thing back together because you don't want an exhaust manifold gasket leaking. And when I look down there, there's that old gasket hanging on that stud, so I need to get that off of there, reset these new manifold gaskets, and get this thing back together. I got all the nuts off of all the studs. I got all the studs put back in the head. I got all the gaskets hung back in the right position. I don't have any extra gaskets hanging in there. Now I can put this exhaust manifold back on, torque these bolts down, and start making some more progress. Next, I'm going to install the coolant hoses. That coolant hose right there is a turbo supply. I'm going to go find that, go do the 2 heater hoses, put those on, and we'll go from there. Not sure if you remember, but the customer made the wise decision of buying the DO88 coolant hoses. Comes with no clamps, comes with no quick disconnects on the end. So you got to cut the old ends off the old hoses, which I had to take to a shop and do because I didn't have the ability to do that here. And now I'm going to take these off and I'm going to clean the old crud residue, coolant residue off of these ends so that doesn't interfere with me getting a good seal in my new firewall junction. And then I got to clamp these new hoses onto here. So I'll probably wet those, put a clamp on them so they won't slide off. We should be good to go. So just take a little time, clean these up, put the new hose ends on there, and we should be good to go. But I gotta make sure I orientate this right. Now this hose here, I'm not sure if it's the inlet or the outlet. It's the one that plugs in the bottom. I had to put that one in the bottom. This one with this curve in it goes in the top. It reaches over top of the bottom one. That's why it's shaped like this. This one goes in the top. The short end goes in the bottom. And this is no disrespect to DO88. The original hoses, man, they last 20, 25 years. I just go back with those. But if you want to do a modification, this is probably the best one. There they are, folks, all cleaned off. I'm going to spray them with a little blast of brake parts cleaner just to make sure there is no Scotch-Brite material left in there. That stuff is nasty inside your system. And I'm going to get these installed. Not sure where these gloves come from. Man, they feel great. 7 mil thickness. I have them on less than 5 minutes and I got a hole in both of them. I just not sure why. I'm tearing these gloves up quicker than I can put them on. I grabbed a couple of clamps from the salvage yard. I don't see them. So I'm going to check a couple of boxes and got to find some clamps for these hoses. If you find yourself where you don't have the old hoses with you, here's a tip to get them put on right. The lower hose has the sharp bend. The sharp bend is what part of the hose goes on the crossover pipe, and the slight bend goes up to this connection here. And of course, The smooth part of the connection goes into the firewall junction, and the part with the catch on it goes in the hose where you could clamp it. I couldn't find any clamps that would work good because, you know, on all of the Volvo Coolant they have worm clamps. So I didn't want to use any other type of clamps. I've seen some of those. I thought about using those where you use the Oaklear clamp, but you know, on these cars they don't have these on Coolant. They have those on vacuum and PCV. So I found some worm clamps off of a coolant reservoir. I'm going to use those to hold these ends on these pipes here. Orientation of these ends are important because you don't want them stressed with any stress on them. You want them to kind of fall natural. So if you hold that straight away from you, it'll almost point exactly away from this opening. And on this one, it's kind of the same thing. You want the end to point away from the hose connection. So that should be the proper orientation of these connections. Then when you put those on, put them on tight enough so you know they won't pop off. You will barely be able to turn the end of it in there, but it should be snug where it just doesn't turn around in there easy. Now I always lubricate the piece that I'm pushing on there. It goes on easier, lubricate it, then I clamp it, and it shouldn't leak. Don't over tighten the clamp and break the clamp. Hose is pushed on far enough to touch the hump right there. The clamp is tight enough so that the edges of it are flush with the hose, but not squeezing the hose so bad that it's bulging. So this is where I got both of these at. They should be good to go. See how that looks almost level. The ends don't turn easily in the end. If I grabbed it real tight, it probably could, especially because I lubricated it, and that's where I'm going with these. I got those cleaned off, so I'm gonna go ahead and attach them to the car. Actually, I'm gonna wait until I get the subframe up before I attach these hoses. Here's the upper heater hose. It plugs into the side of the engine right there, and it goes under the crossover pipe, plugs into the firewall junction. This is the other hose. It plugs into this pipe right here in the middle, and it goes and plugs into the firewall junction. This other hose down there that plugs in next to it, you see it's got a metal pipe on the end. That's the turbo supply coolant hose, and if the clamp is orientated like that, you can often reach it from up top with a 6-inch, quarter-inch extension. You pull the turbo inlet hose, you stick a quarter-inch with a 6-inch extension, run it under the pipe, and hit the clamp right there. So that's how you get those off and on. Trying to rain again was not successful the last time. Went through a couple boxes, found this URO turbo supply coolant line. Man, I am not putting this on this car. The one that's on there doesn't look that bad. I think he's better off with that than this. I'm gonna look through a couple more boxes, see if I see another one. I thought I saw a set from IPD. I will use the IPD ones. Got a couple more URO hoses. Radiator hoses, I would use those URO. I wouldn't buy them, but I doubt they'll fail really quick coming on and off the radiator. Don't buy those. URO PCV parts, I will not put those on your car. Waste of money. I will put the Volvo ones on your car. I will not put any URO PCV parts on your car. Save your money. I am no longer replacing oil cooler lines. Don't waste your time buying those if you want my help with them. I will not put those on your car. Unless you want to pay me $800. Other than that, I'm blocking those off. What's this? I forgot. Oh, it's a fuel pump relay. Alright, so let me look through here, make sure we don't have none of those IPD hoses, and then get this car back together. I do not see any other coolant hoses, the IPD style, so we're going to go ahead and put this thing back together. Start off by connecting those two coolant hoses there. Connect this coolant hose up front, and then I'm going to make sure all the transmission bolts are tight and try to put this subframe on there. Probably going to hang this turbo too. Notice that was kind of neat is with the subframe off, you can see this really good, but you can see this dimple from the oil pump and how much clearance it has to the bottom of the timing belt with this guard out of the way. I know we explained to a lot of people that you got to make sure you get your timing belt through this crack and onto your crank sprocket, and this is the thing that's in the way when you try to put your belt on. Dang it, cold rain right after my snack break. Give this a few minutes, hopefully it'll blow over. Rain's gone, sun's back out, back at it. Man, it's about a 10-degree bump with that dang sun out. Anyway, let's get cracking on this. Got those heater hoses on. They are ready to plug into the firewall. I don't see no reason why I should not hang this subframe. So let me try to get this subframe hung and go from there. Well, guess what? It was easier to toss the oil filter on and the timing belt on with the subframe down. So I got that done. Now I'm going to change that mount real quick. I realized it's easier to put some more stuff on while I had this subframe down, like the water pump, easier to reach near, stuff like that. I went in that aftermarket timing belt kit and got the water pump bolts, and they do not have thread sealer on them. That was interesting, so I'm going to put some thread sealer on them. A couple of them go in the engine, a couple of them go out the back, but the ones you get from Volvo have thread sealer on them, so I'm going to do that. Just check the timing, and it appears that the timing is off. Probably in the process of torquing the flywheel and stuff, I had the timing belt off. Keep the timing belt on when you're working with that stuff, because now this timing's off pretty bad. So I got to get that back on. Roll back real easy and probably good to go. The reason I decided to check the timing again, because there was some dirt down there. Also, you see that slits in this harmonic balancer? When the belt's installed, that belt normally lines up with those slices when it goes around the idler. So I seen that I was missing those slices, so then I went and looked for the timing mark. Couldn't find the timing mark. So there it is right there at the oil pump dimple. Good to go. I got the water pump bolts torqued on, so I should be good to go. I'm gonna put this away. Now I should be okay to hang this subframe and work this engine back into the proper position. If you're dealing with a 93, a 94, or 95 850 in the US, in Europe it might be 92. You see where that CV axle goes in on the passenger side, US, and that plug right there, that's the speed sensor. And if you look on the other side of it, it's got one nut on the other side of it. You take that 10mm bolt out, and you can slide that speed sensor out toward the back of the car. So that's where it is. Now, if you're putting a 95 or older transmission into a 96 or newer car, you just leave it unplugged. The 96 and newer cars don't need it. Battery's dying. I gotta go get my jump box and charge up this phone. Anyway, by the looks of this mount right here, the engine is about 1.5 inches too low still. So I'm gonna go crank the engine up so I can get it over these mounts and continue with this subframe steering rack assembly. My phone drained my jump box down to 77%, and now my phone is up to 95%, so I'm good to go. Good to go. And it's like 6:30. I don't know if I could start anything else, but I think I'm going to keep going until 6:45, see what else I can get done. I have the lower end buttoned up, which means the steering rack is secure, the subframe is secure, the engine mounts are secure, everything's lined up. I could take this engine support off and throw it in the trash basically. So now I need to do accessory stuff. I could lubricate those coolant hoses and plug those in, and drop this radiator intercooler because we have a different radiator and intercooler that's going in. Maybe I'll hook up this clutch slave, but I need to find my brake fluid. I need to hook that turbo up, and I need to find some engine oil to change the oil. 7:05, all cleaned up and ready to go. Grab my tools and hit the brakes. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.